Hello today, my friends at YouTube. Winged Wolf Knight coming at you today. And today's video is going to be about the 12 spiritual laws of the universe. And I had to write all this information down, guys, because that's how I am. I'm list oriented. And I already knew I wouldn't be able to remember all this unless I did, so I wrote it all down. And I'm coming at you today to explain a little better and what the 12 universal laws really are. And it just got done storming and raining a little bit here today, so it's a little bit wet out here, and at least it cleared back up, guys. But today for me has been a little bit of an emotional day, but that's not something I want to go into details with at all. But here I am, and here I go with the video. The 12 spiritual laws of the universe. Alright, the first law is one that all of us should be aware of, but maybe not. And that is the law of divine oneness. And the law of divine oneness is the foundational law according to which everything in the universe is interconnected, which means basically every choice, word, desire, and belief you have will have an impact on the world and the people in your life. AKA a ripple effect. Sometimes the impact is obvious and immediate, other times it takes a while to manifest, and sometimes you won't ever see that it occurred at all, guys. It'll just happen and you won't ever actually see that it happened. So, try thinking of yourself as part of everything around you to live accordingly with this law. We are all one, and being aware of this makes us more powerful as well as more empathetic. And empathetic means that we can show empathy to other people. Empaths have this gift very heavily naturally. I'm an empath, I know. So I have that naturally. But a lot of people, it seems like these days, guys, know how to show sympathy but not empathy. And they are a little bit different. If you look them up, you will see that they are a little bit different on what those two terms are. The second law of the universe is the law of vibration. According to the law of vibration, every particle in the universe is in constant motion / movement and constantly carrying energy. This applies to everything from the stars and planets in the universe all the way down to the chair underneath you or the table your computer sits on. Also, everything has its own specific energy frequency. So, that being said, for examples there, high energy particles are naturally attuned to other high energy particles. Same can be said for low energy particles. They're naturally attracted to other low energy particles. So, pretty interesting there. The third law of the universe is the law of correspondence. And what the law of correspondence is this law is directly related to the law of divine oneness. The idea here is that patterns repeat throughout the universe, and prominent patterns can also be found repeating on a very small scale. So, with that being said, all that is that is telling us that there are naturally occurring patterns in the universe that if we sit and pay attention to, we will see in our everyday lives, and we will notice certain patterns that constantly repeat themselves, or certain like number patterns, for example, 1111, 222, 777, stuff like that. That can be part of the law of correspondence, because that is a pattern that is repeating itself throughout the universe. Number 4 is a law that all of us have learned at some point or another. All of us have learned at least a little bit of information about it. The 4th law of the universe is one of the more popular known. It is the law of attraction. The law of attraction tells us that like attracts like. So in order to have things you desire in life, you have to learn how to vibrate on the same frequency as those things. The general lesson here is being positive, proactive, and loving attracts more of the same into your life. Meanwhile, pessimism, fear, and lethargy will cause you to generate more negative experiences in all aspects of your life. So basically what that is, guys, is what you think about is what you attract. You don't always attract what you want. You attract who you are, if that makes sense. You attract who you are, what you are. So depending on how you think, depends on what will be in your life. Very basic knowledge to have, guys, but so powerful if you think about it, because once you know the law of attraction and how it works, you can create your reality through manifestation to what you want to happen. The 5th law of the universe, guys, is one that I did not really know about, surprisingly. And that is the law of inspired action. The law of attraction and the law of inspired action are very tightly bound together, guys. They are very, very tightly bound together. And the inspired action law tells us that we must actively pursue our goals. If we do not actively pursue them, they will not manifest. We will not get to the goal we want. That makes a lot of sense, because you can think about something all the time, but if you never take the steps to manifest that into your reality, it's just a thought, guys. It's just there. It's in your head. It does not manifest unless you take the extra steps to start doing the inspired actions. And with that being said, many people think visualizing a goal and developing a positive attitude is sufficient. And that's what I thought for many years. I thought that just thinking about those would be sufficient enough to manifest it into my life. I was wrong. I have to pursue that as much as I think about it for it to physically manifest. Because I have the power. I am an infinite being, guys. We are all infinite beings. We have the power to shape and create our realities. And you've heard me talk about that in other videos. But as I said, many people think that visualizing a goal and developing a positive attitude towards that goal are sufficient to exploit the law of attraction. However, like I said, you also have to take the inspired steps toward the things you want. Now, whether that step is big or small, it will instantly help you attract that relationship, job, or enhanced abundance that you seek. So by taking the necessary steps forward, thinking about what you want to manifest, go hand in hand, you start taking the actions to make that manifest, it will manifest. The 6th law of the universe is the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. That's another one that I was not all that knowledgeable of, guys. But what the law of perpetual transmutation of energy tells us, this law states that everything around us is in a constant flux. It's in a constant change, a constant fluctuation, which is why that we can't see all of these changes, because many of them exist at a cellular or atomic level. So they exist in a plane where the naked eye itself cannot perceive, which I found interesting. Anyway, guys, Like I said, I'm out here in my sanctuary, breathing in that good vibrations from Mother Nature. And it's a nice feeling right now, guys, because like I said, today's been a little bit of an emotional struggle for me. I've broken down a couple times today, which it happens. I'm going through some stuff right now that I'm having to face that I pushed down so long that it's resurfacing, and I'm now having to face it head to head. It's another obstacle that I will overcome, though, on my journey. It's an obstacle on my journey. I will overcome that. Anyway, on to the 7th law of the universe. Is the law of cause and effect, which everybody knows what the law of cause and effect is, guys, at least in the physical plane. But not a lot of us go about thinking what that can do in the spiritual plane for us, as well as the physical. And the law of cause and effect, one of the most straightforward laws, guys. I mean, it's just straightforward. This law tells us that actions have a corresponding reaction. We all know this when it comes to the physical aspects of the world, but most people don't think about how that can apply to the spiritual aspects, like I was discussing, of the universe. And your spiritual life can impact the world around you, causing positive or negative reactions. Similarly, your physical environment can impact your spirituality, whether for good or for ill. And what that means, guys, is if you're in a bad environment, it can directly impact your mental state. And it can cause you to manifest negatively because you're not happy in that environment. To where if you're in an environment that is filled with positivity, love, and good vibrations, guys, that can actually help us to manifest something, or to learn something knowledgeable, or to do something that we normally wouldn't have had the motivation to do. At least that's my opinion. But anyway, enough on that one. The 8th law of the universe. The 8th spiritual law of the universe is the law of compensation. AKA, essentially what this universal law is, guys, the law of you reap what you sow. That's how I was taught about this one, was you reap what you sow. So anyway, the law of compensation. According to this law, you will receive what you put out. This law is similar to the law of attraction, except with the focus on the idea that compensation can come in many forms. And with this can come in many forms. This is essentially the you reap what you sow law of the universe, as I stated. And this law simply reminds us to be careful how we treat others and the planet. Because what we put out, what energy we put out around ourselves, is going to attract the same energy back to us in our lives. If you don't want to be negative, don't put out negativity. If you want positivity, put out the positivity. Put out the energy waves so that they come back to you. But anyway, the 9th universal law is the law of relativity. And the law of relativity is all about the neutrality of things in isolation. So no particular person, experience, emotion, or action is evaluated as good or bad until you look at it in comparison with something else. So basically what that is to me, guys, you can think of an object and it is not good or bad until you compare that object to another object. Or in this case, you could do the same. I suppose with people, you know, you look at one person and you don't have any judgment, good or bad, on them, and then you compare them to somebody else. It happens all the time in this day and age, guys. We are always, people in general, always wanting to compare themselves to others. And guys, that's not what you want to do. You just want to learn to be happy with who you are. And after you learn how to be happy with yourself, you will start to develop and manifest the life that you truly want for yourself. Anyway, in comparison to something else. But by keeping this law in mind, you remain conscious of the fact that there are always multiple perspectives on anything that happens to you. And slipping into those alternate perspectives can sometimes make you yourself more grateful for something you have. Because you've thought about it from other perspectives. You've thought, like, you know, it might not be so bad after all. And you sometimes become more grateful for those items or for those things because you've thought from different perspectives. The 10th universal law. The 10th one is the law of polarity. And that's an interesting one, guys. At least to me. It's really interesting because it does make a ton of sense. And the law of polarity is the most important thing to remember about this law is absolutely everything in existence has an opposite. And the very existence of these opposites is what allows us to learn to understand our lives. I found that interesting and very, very powerful because I'm at a point right now where I am struggling a little bit and I'm learning a lot of information that I did not previously have. Anyway, the 11th spiritual law of the universe, guys, is the law of rhythm. This law is sometimes also called the law of perpetual motion. And what this law is focused on, this law is focused strictly on movement. Specifically, it refers to the fact all things come in cycles. Examples of that, guys. The spiral pattern that is throughout all the galaxies that we found. All the spiral patterns, you know, the seasons, the aging process of the human body. All of those can correlate to the law of rhythm or the law of perpetual motion because it's just telling us that everything comes in cycles, whether it be good or bad. The 12th and final spiritual law of attraction that I have learned. I don't know if there are more out there. If there are, please let me know, guys, and I will look those up too and figure it out and research and figure out what those are. But the 12th and final sign for this video on the spiritual laws of the universe, guys, is the law of gender. But I know most are going to automatically assume when I say gender, it's talking about the sexes of people. I am not. What I'm actually talking about here is this law of gender has very little to do with the biological sex of us. But rather, it refers to the fact that there are two major energies or types of energy. And those two energies you can call masculine and feminine, yin and yang, or even anima and animus. Good energy and bad energy, the balance. And we all contain a certain amount of both energies, guys. That's the key thing here. We all, as humans, possess both feminine and masculine energies. Now, how we can go about improving ourselves with this law of the universe, guys? We must learn how to achieve balance between the two of them if we are to live happily and authentically. Think about the role each one plays in your life and whether there is an excess or deficit of either one. And I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, guys, on that. And what that relates to me, figure out how to use your masculine energy and your feminine energy in a perfect harmony, because they're both inside our bodies. But it looks like, guys, that it's clouding back up, so it's a possibility of more rain coming in. But I just want to come at you today, guys, to let you know the 12 universal laws. And like I said, if there's any more of them, let me know. And I will learn them. I will figure out what they are. But anyway, hope you liked my video. And if you did, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I also have a Facebook now that has a link that you can type in to go directly to my to my YouTube channel. It's on my Facebook now. My Facebook is just Kevin West. If you want to look me up on Facebook, look me up on Facebook, and that is the social media platform that I am mostly using to put my videos out there. So it'd be much appreciated on that if you will help me out with that, guys, and just send me a message or something like, hey, I watched the video or something like that, or just send me a friend request and I'll probably accept it and see about everything. But like I said, I now have my Facebook. If you want to look me up there, I've got that, and that's where when I make new videos, I'll post them up there to the public so that I can get my videos out there so that I can get my views. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and just, like I said, if you like my video, guys, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell down there, and that way when I do upload new videos, you will automatically be notified. And with that being said, guys, it's starting to warm back up with humidity. So, namaste, my friends. May your day be filled with blessings, and may your energy be positive. I'm out.